Long runs, a tale old as time. No matter your level of expertise, no matter how short or how long you've been running, no matter the distance you're training for, the PRs you're going for, the long run is tough. The long run, in its name, is long. Long runs aren't just about endurance. It's an entirely, completely different battle. Some runs may feel great. Some days you're going to feel great. Some miles you're going to feel great. But then some miles, it's going to feel like every step is a grind and it just never seems to end. And everyone always seems to ask runners, what's going through your mind? You're spending hours doing such a monotonous task. What are you thinking about? So I figured, what better way than explain it during my 22-mile run this week? Running on weekends is nice, but if you're really going to train for something big, you're going to have to sacrifice some sleep and get up a little earlier before work to get those miles in. So the first thing that pops into my mind when I wake up is, damn, it's early. My second thought is, maybe I can do this tonight or this weekend. Then there isn't enough time for a third thought because my feet are already on the floor. That's the key, feet on the floor. So now we're going to get into my pre-run routine. While I'm slowly waking up, this is when I start getting my mind prepped. I do some work emails, eat my pre-run banana with honey, and drink my little concoction that I got going on. And, I think about the weather. Did anything change from the forecast last night? What's the wind like? Can I run on the bridge? I hope this doesn't suck. I'm fine. This is fine. As I'm heading out the door and outside to do a little warm-up routine, I'm trying not to think about how tired I am, how much effort is laid out in front of me. I try to think of it as I'm just going for a little ride, but I'm using my legs, ? First few miles, I'm aching. My body at this point is still waking up, and all I can think about is, I know I'm in pain right now. It usually gets better, but what if it doesn't? This run might suck. This run could be a long run, but it's too early to tell. My body is just getting going. My mind is finally starting to wake up. My heart rate is starting to raise from that perfect restful sleep that I was just in. And I'm starting to figure some things out. The mind is starting to expand outside of, I'm tired. Now my mind's thinking, we're in this. Big time runners often talk about how running doesn't clear your mind. It gives you clarity. And that happens in these middle miles. We're just about halfway through this run, and I'm taking a quick second in the middle of this run. I normally try not to stop, just to let you know what I'm thinking about. It is still so freaking dark out here. The only thing that I've been thinking about is don't trip. I've got my little watch flashlight going, but it's only shining a couple feet out in front of me, and I cannot see where I am going. I feel like I am running in a dark abyss. On today's run, the only thing that I'm thinking about this first half is don't fall. Although I can see the sun starting to peek out a little bit, so I think I'm going to get a little bit of light here coming soon, and that will be tremendous. We'll see where the mind goes from there. You're over that warm-up period. You've got your pace down. Your heart rate's starting to settle in. You're getting in a groove. You started to have some food in your system. Your mind's awake. Maybe the sunrise is coming up. Maybe not yet. But this is when you find that peace. Those middle miles are just that runner's high, that chef's kiss, that love that runners always seem to talk about. That's where you find it, in these middle miles. And the more you start to run, those middle miles start to happen at different spots. So when you first start running, you think about, man, at 2 miles, that's when that runner's high happened. And now when you're going for these 20+ mile runs consistently, you're not even warmed up by mile 10. That's just when you're getting in your groove. The tough part is when people ask, what do you think about when you run? And you have your answer for the beginning. You have your answer for the end. But those middle miles, 99% of the time, you couldn't tell anyone what you were thinking about because your mind starts to wander in all these different directions. I reflect on how far I've came, like physically, but also like spiritually, mentally, just the journey of running my life. You always start to think about
wow, I've put in so much effort. You always start to think about the efforts that you've put in. You start to think about how pretty the sunrise is. You start to think about maybe how dark it still is outside. You start to think about what you have to do after this run. You start thinking about what's for lunch, what's for breakfast, what do you have going on tomorrow? Your mind just starts to go in all these directions. These long runs help you connect the dots and help you realize what's actually happening in your life. So if you were to ask someone, when you're in a marathon at mile 15, what were you thinking about? There's no way they're going to recall, because each time it's different and each time it's new revelation. But there is also the problem of boredom. When you're in that zone and your thoughts are flowing, it's all fun and games. It's great. But sometimes that boredom happens, that monotony, that repetitive motion of left, right, breathe, breathe, breathe. And so oftentimes runners joke about how to break up the miles and to make mental games within your head to make it more digestible. A lot of times people are just doing math. That's what you're thinking. Hey, I've only got half a mile left until I'm a mile away from 5K left of this first half of the run. And then you go a couple feet down the road and now you're thinking, hey, I'm only 3K away from 5K left of this 15K run that I'm doing. And you're just constantly breaking it down that if I only go this much further, then that means I only have this much left. And that means there's only that much more for me to run until this run is done. And it's just a constant, continuous cycle of playing mental math, fighting off the boredom, trying to find yourself in that blissful state that sometimes you find, sometimes you don't find.
All right, I'm gonna take another little interjection right here now that I can finally see where I'm running again. Just filled up my little water at that water fountain, so I figured now, good time to update you what I'm thinking. The last little bit has been quite pleasant, just cruising along, listening to my audiobook, Endurance. And no, it's not about running, it's about people that survived crashing in the Antarctic. Great book, highly recommend, super entertaining, especially for runs. But I've got just over 5 miles left of this 22-mile run, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to get a little worried, a little anxious. The pace that I was holding at mile 9 is now taking a little bit more effort here as I'm approaching 17. I started to get a little tight in a calf. My hip's starting to get a little tight. My heart rate's starting to raise a little bit, and I'm getting a little anxious about the wall. The wall is scary, so all I'm thinking about is maintaining proper form, working on my breathing, because wasted energy, wasted motion, gonna burn more energy, gonna make you hit that wall sooner. So as we approach this last bit of the run, more of my focus is going towards my form. The last little bit focused on not tripping on anything in the dark and just enjoying the views, enjoying the book. But now I'm thinking about the run. See you at 22.
The wall happens all throughout training. The wall happens on a short run you weren't prepared for. The wall most likely happens on a long run that you were prepared for. But me personally, if I'm well prepared for the run and if I ate my fuel and I stayed hydrated throughout that run, I don't always seem to hit it. But when you do, you know, it gets dark here, real dark. So some runs for me are great. Most of them, if I'm doing my training right, I try not to hit the wall too much because that sucks, sometimes a part of training. But when you hit that wall, the games are over. You know what's coming. Things get dark. You start talking yourself out of this run. You ask yourself, why am I doing this? I can just take a break. No one would ever know. And you're fighting with yourself about not letting yourself stop. That's all you can think about is I am tired and I want to stop. And you need to fight back with yourself on your why. The reason why you are doing this. The reason why you need to dig deep. And the runs where you find yourself having to stop the run, pause the watch maybe, and start walking, catch your breath for a second. Those are the runs where you lost the battle in your mind. Those are the runs where when it's all over, you're kicking yourself that I wish I just stayed a little bit tougher, a little bit longer and grinded that out. The runs that you get through that wall, the runs that you finish, one, those are the runs that make the difference. But 2, those are the runs where you were able to speak clearly enough to yourself in a hard time, get through the storm that's clouding up your vision, and explain to yourself and remind yourself, this is why I'm doing it. This isn't just a run. I'm training for XYZ. For me, I'm training to be a tougher person. I'm training to be a better person. I'm training because I said that I'm going to do this, so I am going to do it. When you hit that wall, all you can think about is your why. And if you don't think about your why, you often think a few hours after that run, why did I walk?
0.05 to go, or 03 now. 0.99. 22. Gotta account for the Strava tax.
Now that the run's all over, you have that sense of accomplishment. That runner's high is quickly back. You are so proud of yourself about how you pushed through that wall, and all of a sudden, all the dark thoughts, the deep thoughts you were thinking completely disappeared. All you can think about is, man, I'm pretty thirsty and I would love a good snack right now. It's so funny how your mind will quickly change from that was horrible, I'm going to die right now, to hey, that wasn't that bad. And so that's oftentimes the thing that you need to remind yourself is quickly after a run, most of the time, you're thinking it probably wasn't that bad.
Thankfully, no wall hit today. I could feel it creeping up on me though. Energy levels were dipping. I was getting a little thirsty. Had to refill my water one more time and already finished that. Just doing some mental gymnastics of math in my head, trying to distract myself from clipping the miles away. But the run's done. Freaking morning. This entire morning was just, again, a roller coaster of emotions, from waking up at the crack of dawn, running 22 miles, about an 8:45 pace, which isn't that slow, really. And just went for over a 3-hour run, and the day hasn't even really started. A feeling of accomplishment. What's going through my head now is, well, one, what I gonna drink right after this and eat, but then things I gotta do the rest of the day, and everything that seemed like a big task today, the rest of this week, all of a sudden seems so much smaller in my mind, and I think I feel that I'm better for doing this run. It is.
But long runs, huge mental game, and it tests your patience, it tests your strength, it tests your endurance, it tests your ability to push past pain. And while it is great for running marathons, ultramarathons, distances, it's also great for life. It teaches you patience, how to handle stress, how to push through hard times, and every single aspect of a long run you can relate to life. And that's one of the reasons why I picked up running. That's one of the reasons why I love running so much, is because it is such a great metaphor for life. And when I become a better runner, I believe I become a better person. And so when I'm going through these runs and people ask me, what do you think about on these runs? I think about how much better I am for doing this. Comment down below on your next long run what you were thinking about. Thank you for watching another video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, keep working, keep pursuing greatness, keep doing your long runs, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.